it harder than they should have. Tonight on the Lady Belin Show, we are going deeper with part 2 of the teacher effect. And this time, we are talking discipline, damage, and the road to healing. Our guest steps into the spotlight not just as an educator, but as a human being with stories of mistakes, breakthroughs, and hard earned wisdom. Because let's be honest, some of us are still carrying classroom wounds, and some teachers are still learning how to lead with love. It's not just about what was said back then, it's about what we do with it now. Greetings, each and every single one of you. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Lady Belin Show, finding strength in your story with myself. I don't know what title you want to give me, but this evening I'm your host, Lady Belin, and it's an absolute honor to sit right where I'm sitting each and every single week to serve us. I hope that the content that we share on this platform, some way, somehow, is enriching your life, is helping you to be a better version of yourself, is challenging you, is challenging all of us. A few protocols. So if you're not already following us on our various social media platforms, what are you waiting for? It's at Lady Belin Show, and you can find us on TikTok. We are on X. We are on Facebook. We are on Instagram. And of course, we do also have our YouTube channel. And it's at Lady Belin Show. I've made your life so much simple and easy, right? At Lady Belin Show for everything. Make sure you're following us to just be updated on what is going on this platform, and also make sure that you have subscribed to our YouTube channel, because that's where we post most of our videos on there. And anytime you get opportunity to go to our YouTube channel, you've watched any of the video, leave a comment, let us know your thoughts. What was your one takeaway? Last week we had an absolutely fantastic conversation on the subject of the teacher effect, looking at the impact that teachers have on you and I. We've all been students at some point in our lives, and we've encountered that one teacher, those two teachers, whether good or bad, whether they spoke positivity or negativity into our lives. We have been imparted one way or the other by a teacher, and that is what has helped us, or what has imparted us to this time in our life where we find ourselves right now in the journey of life. And sometimes in some of these roles, they don't get much credit for what they do. So last week we did speak about, giving that credit. But this week, I want us to look at it from a different angle. And that angle is, sorry. And that angle is, we also want to look. Last week we spoke about, the positivity, the positive effect that teachers has. But we also know that some teachers sometimes are not that positive. They don't speak life into us. And so we want to look at it from another angle in terms of correction and in terms of care. What are some of the best ways to correct the student and to, exercise some kind of empathy? Last week, our guest, Mr. Samuel Kumsin, shared something. And my takeaway from it was that a teacher, you're not only there to teach the student, but you're almost a second parent, And the word he used was, if I can remember, locus parentis. So you're almost acting as a second parent in the life of these students, because most students spend more time with the teachers than with the parents. So what is it are you doing as a teacher to make sure you're rightfully imparting and speaking life into these students? Because your words are forming their mindset. Your words are going to eventually be the foundation on which they build the rest of their life, and in who or whom they'll become tomorrow. And this evening, I'm not going to be here by myself. I have a guest. Earlier, you did see him quickly. I have a guest joining me to share some thoughts and to help me to have this conversation. And so we'll bring him on later on. But tonight, it's just me, your girl, because my co-host, has some personal issues, so he's not able to join us live in the studio, but I'm sure he's watching wherever he is. And before we start, I want to play a video for us to watch, just to set the mood for the conversation we're going to have. There's sometimes that it just takes that one person, that one voice, or that one moment for you to be reminded that you matter. And I want us to watch this moment where one of the legends, English football player by the name Ian Wright, reconnected with a teacher that made such a difference in his life and changed everything for him. And then we'll be right back.
Mr. Pigden, he wanted to teach, and he probably wanted to teach because he wanted to find a student that he could change their lives, and it was me. I was the guy. I can't even tell you, sometimes I think about him literally every day. He gave me some self-worth. He made me feel like I was important. I remember when I met him again, it was really strange.
Hello, Ian. Long time no see.
Mr. Pigden, you're alive.
I'm alive, he says. How are you doing?
I can't believe it. Someone said you was dead.
As you see, I'm very much in, and I'm so glad you've done so well with yourself.
I don't know what to say.
God,
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. I don't know why I didn't tell Mr. Pigden about what was happening at home, but just having his encouragement really helped.
Having his encouragement really helped. This was a young boy whose life could have taken a different trajectory. But because he met a teacher that made him feel self-worthy, a teacher that made him believe that he's important, he matters, made all the difference. And those of you that watch football, that are, football fans, those of you that know about the England team, back in the days, few years ago, would know this Ian Wright. The world celebrates him, but he couldn't have been who he is had it not been this teacher that spoke life into him and made sure he wasn't just another statistics. He wasn't just another black boy, troublesome, problematic, but took him under his wings and nurtured him to become who he is. And so when you watch that video, my question to you is, what is it that stands out to you in his emotion when you saw him almost shaking because he thought this teacher had died? He spent so many years looking for him. Can we talk about the power of being seen, being acknowledged, being recognized by a teacher? And again, I want us to watch this other video because now some of us were seen a little earlier and encouraged to bloom. And I want us to look at a video of Beyonce who discovered her voice not in music studio but in a drama class. And then again, we'll come back, so stay tuned.
Did you just sing to people and people said, oh my God, you can sing, and you just started?
No, I was really shy. My mother put me and my sister in dance classes, and my dance teacher, her name was Miss Darlette. She was like, baby, sing for me. I heard you over there singing to the track, sing for me. And I did, and she was like, you can really sing. And she told me to perform at a talent show, and I started performing. I fell in love with the stage.
She told you to do it, and that you all of a sudden went, well, that lady said I could sing?
Well, yeah, my parents were in the audience. They had never saw me perform before. And I was...
So you owe a lot to that lady that actually got you started.
Yeah, I do, actually.
Come on out. Now, how smart are you to all of a sudden spot this? Had you ever seen had you ever seen anything like that? I mean, I just see that video and
I knew from little bitty she would be a star. I always told her. I knew it.
Pretty smart lady. Pretty smart lady. I mean, you must be following this going, I said it, I said it.
But she worked very hard.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why she's going to retire at 30. She's tired. Yeah, no, this is pretty exciting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I can't believe she's here.
She's here. And now, so you discovered her how? What were you doing?
Well, she was at the studio, and she was the last one, and our parents always come together to pick her up, and I was just kind of sweeping around, and I was singing, and of course I can't sing.
So then, and you hear her.
And I was singing a song out of tune, and Beyonce finished the song for me, and she hit a note. And I said, sing it again. And now remind you, she was a very shy girl.
And how old was this?
She was about maybe 6 or 7. And she sung it, and when her parents came to pick her up, I said, she can sing, do you know she can sing? I'm like, yeah, you know, she sings around the house. I said, no, she can sing. She really can sing. And they convinced me to let me put her in some singing competitions and dance competitions. And it's been history since.
So I'm sure a lot of parents go, my kid sings, but you know, what do you think was special about her that you said, well, no, but she sings?
I remind you, when her parents enrolled her, they enrolled her for dance classes. Had nothing to do with singing. She was at a dance studio.
Right.
But I knew from when I heard that child sing, and then when I saw her on stage for the first time, I knew it, without a doubt, she was gonna be a star.
Yeah.
As you heard Beyonce's teacher, when I heard her sing, I knew without a doubt that she's going to be a great star. That wasn't a parent that recognized that. Beyonce's parents knew she was good in dancing, but they never knew, they had no clue about her ability to sing. And so they had enrolled her into a drama class, a dancing class to go and dance. Had Beyonce not met this teacher, perhaps today we wouldn't know who Beyonce is. What do we understand the gravity of the role that these teachers play in our lives? And how you can see that one moment of recognition of Beyonce has now turned into a whole legacy. The world celebrates her. How many stars never discovered their spark because no one lit the match? How many more Beyoncés have we missed out the opportunity because the teacher wasn't there, or the teacher couldn't see to recognize that gift in her? And I want to start my conversation with my guest, Mr. Eugene. Eugene is an educator who specializes in the field of business, fictional skills, adult IT, and T-level finance. He teaches through the University of Technical College, UTC sixth form. He's passionate about preparing students for careers in modern industries. And my guest is committed to hands-on practical learning that equips young people with the skills they need to succeed in future. And he's been doing this work for the last 23 years. So I want you to help me to bring on or to join me have this great conversation. My guest, Eugene. Good. I'm sorry. Sometimes when you're live, you do get some technical difficulties. So please just bear with us, okay? We'll try and manage, but we're definitely going to have a great conversation. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, let me see. I think we're having some issues.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
All right then. Okay.
How
Good
are
evening.
you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic.
Okay. Okay. It's good to
So
see you.
you saw the video of Ian Wright.
I did. Yes.
You saw Beyonce.
Yes.
And all these, people are well celebrated people.
Yes.
But the world couldn't have celebrated them without the input of their teachers. And so even from watching that video as a teacher, I want to ask you, you've been in the seat of influence on these children. When you see these stories, maybe students coming back, how or what does it stir up in you?
I suppose. Let me say good evening to all our viewers as well. And yeah, I suppose nobody really gets into teaching because of the money.
Right.
Our job or what we do is natural thing that we do by nurturing young people, and every teacher's hope is to have an influence, to have an impact on the young people, and for us that's when we feel that the job is done. So I personally, I've got various stories to share. I can talk to you about two stories that obviously by watching the video just straight away popped in my head. And one of them was throughout my career, teaching, I did a 10-year work with Barking and Dagenham's People's Referral Unit, which is where students that are really
problematic or troublesome, right,
are sent to. So I worked there. I initially went there for a year or so just to see how it worked, and the impact that you were able to have on these students was basically the satisfaction for me and the reason for me to stay there for much longer. So for someone that I was just going there to have a look at how it's done, I ended up staying there for 10 years and helping a lot of students realize their potential in various fields, be it academics, sports, or music, whatever it was. I remember one of the year groups that I had, there was a boy that had been basically sent to us, obviously for behavior reasons, and working with him as part of what I do. And, you know, if you're working in that field, you're not just going to teach, you become, and especially when they have African background, then you become an uncle, you become a dad, you become the big brother, everything to them.
Right.
So this was a particular student who was very skillful, was very good at football. So I took time out to go and watch some of his games on Saturdays when I'm supposed to be at home with family. I did go and watch him play football. So, you know, the connection was there. And I remember Tottenham took him. And when he was going to sign, I was at home one evening and then my phone rang. And I'm thinking, my mobile phone is ringing, but I don't know the number.
Right.
And it was him. And I'm thinking, you're not supposed to have my phone number. So the first thing he said to me was, oh, sir, don't worry. I spoke to Mrs. Harris, and Mrs. Harris said it was okay because he had gone through HR to get my number. And the reason was for me to join the parents to come to Tottenham to do the signing when Tottenham wanted to sign him. And, you know, I was really chuffed, you know, because I didn't think that, you know, I had made that much of impact on him for me to be part of him signing his professional contract. So, you know, that's one of the ones that came to my mind. Another story, another one, which is, you might not see how these little acts will impact students, but she said to me, oh, say, you don't remember me? I said, oh, yes, I do. Oh, do you know what? I always talk to you about my friends because you were the only teacher who actually learned how to pronounce my name right. Okay. So I was like,
Wow.
this little act is
Right.
basically stayed with this girl for however many years. So yes, whatever we do with these students, whatever we say to them, we might not know it, but the impact sometimes is just unmeasurable, you know. And therefore, as part of my teaching journey, I've learned to be, you know, very careful, and not just be a teacher, but you know, bring all the other qualities that I have as a man, especially when it comes to mentoring young people. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. You know what? Just on the back of what you were saying earlier on. So you went there, you weren't supposed to have stayed there for that long.
I
What
was
was it that made you stay there for a decade?
is the impact, because you will get a student who will be sent to you maybe year 9 or year 10, and this is the student that nobody's been able to speak to for more than 5 minutes, more than 2 minutes, without the student being rude to them. This is a student that has never even sat an exam before. This is a student that, you know, they need 2 youth workers to be in the room for a teacher to teach one lesson. You understand? So that is the environment that, you know, we worked at. And then when you're able, maybe the first 3 weeks, the first 6 weeks, which is half of a term, where students really have got a barrier up because where they're coming from, they've been told that they're no good and this is what they are.
Right.
When they come, the barrier is still up. So then
Right.
it's up to you to work your way around as to how they're going to bring down the barrier. And that is done through trust.
Trust.
Trust. And once you gain the trust, then teaching can happen. But
Right.
you're never ever going to get teaching when, you know, they are in that kind of situation. So I realized that I realized that, and that made my work very easy. So I actually said to myself, but this is easy. All I need to do is to gain the trust of these young people, and I'll be able to teach them. And where they've never been able to sit an exam, I'll be able to do that with them.
Right.
You know, so for me, that was what encouraged me to stay there longer. Seeing students that were coming through, reading their profile, where no teacher wants to work with them.
Right.
And obviously, getting a little bit about getting behind the scenes to understand what backgrounds they're coming from and stuff like that always helps. It always. So sometimes teachers, we're very quick. We want control in the classroom. But
Mm-hmm.
what some of us don't do, or we are not aware of, is the student, just like us, being
Mm-hmm.
him coming to school. What has happened? You see what I mean? So
Right.
it could have been that maybe mom wasn't well and mom
Mm-hmm.
was taken to hospital that morning.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you and I, if we have such a situation, we're never ever going to be 100% going to wherever we're going. You
Right.
see? So it's worth to have that conversation. I mean, some of my lessons, yes, we might be talking about maybe SWOT analysis or something, but the conversation might take us down to, I don't know, safeguarding. And I'll drop the SWOT analysis and let's have a chat. Let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about safeguarding. Tell me what you know about it.
Mm-hmm.
See? So sometimes performances, targets, and all of that takes teachers away from teaching. And
Right.
teaching is not just teaching subjects.
Subjects. Mm.
Teaching is, involves a lot of things. Mentoring is a huge part of teaching. And
Right.
most of the time, this Ofsted requirements and other things will take us away from all of that.
Mm-hmm.
See? So yeah, I think for me, seeing students that were coming through that more, if I'm not sure if I can use these words, but who have been written off,
Mm.
seeing them achieve something at the end of the year or at the end of their time with us,
Mm.
posting and taking pictures with them, for me, that was my satisfaction. So
Right.
I was like, oh, I like this. So, I ended up staying there for 10 years.
And you said it was easy
Yes.
to gain their trust.
Hmm.
And then, it's like sometimes sometimes you have to go down to their
Yes.
level, and then
Yeah.
in order for you to be able to bring them up to your level. But you made it sound so easy. When you say I had to gain their trust, what was it that you
Well,
did
well,
in order for you to be able to gain
yeah.
that trust with the
I
student?
mean, gaining trust involves a lot of things. It's about maybe me being firm in a lesson
Mm-hmm.
and still checking up with them to
Mm-hmm.
explain to them why I had to be that way. How are they feeling now after that? You know, and then going on in the next lesson and making sure that that doesn't happen again.
Right.
And, sometimes just saying sorry when you think that, you've got it wrong.
Mm.
We come from a background or a culture where you could never question teachers.
Right.
I had to unlearn that very quickly, when I started working here, to
Mm-hmm.
understand that, when you're wrong, you're wrong.
Mm.
And if you own up to that, you gain trust with these students, and it's gonna grow a lot of strength in the relationship that you need to have with your students.
Mm-hmm.
Because as teachers, you need that relationship with your students. Otherwise, a lot of achievement targets or whatever that you've got will never be achieved.
Right.
So those were some of the little things, gaining trust by, where you feel like you need to be firm, explaining to them why that has to be, you
Mm-hmm.
know, where you got it wrong, maybe, coming back to say that, what, I'm sorry, I apologize, I got that wrong because this, that. However, and then you still have to let them know that
Yeah.
if you didn't get it wrong, if that was still the case, then you would
Mhm.
have stood by your words. But
Right.
because it's not, you are apologizing. And with that, you gain trust with these students. Yes.
Okay. And you made a great point there, especially from whether black community or African community, where normally when you look at an adult and a child, it's hardly that an adult will apologize to the child, even when they know is wrong. The child, we actually have, it's part of our culture. Like when an adult and a child is dealing, even if the child is right, you're wrong purely because you're dealing with an adult.
Yes.
And sometimes it crushes the
Yeah.
spirit of that child, because how then are we expecting them to emulate some of these characteristics or character traits if we can't even bring ourselves down enough to say I'm sorry when you've wronged them. But so thank you for even choosing to be able to do that, or placing yourself in that space of a bit of vulnerability to be able to do that, because if you as the adult can recognize when you're wrong and say you're sorry, how much more the student when they are wrong
Yeah. I mean, students can, they can spot pride a
Right.
mile off, you know. As a human being, humility, you have to understand that they will see it. They will see it. And if you got it wrong, you got it wrong. It's fine.
Right.
Teach them that that's part of life. You will get things.
Right.
And when you realize you've gotten it wrong, apologizing is not a sign of weakness,
Right.
strength,
Mm-hmm.
you to strengthen relationships with.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know what? I got that wrong. I thought this when that was happening, but
Mm-hmm.
that wasn't the case. So I apologize. In case that was happening, then
Mm-hmm.
there's no way that you're going to apologize. But if you've gotten it wrong, then yes, you
You're
apologize.
wrong. Wrong is wrong. It doesn't matter who did
Yes,
the wrong. Wrong is
and
wrong.
it becomes a sign of strength, for building relationships rather than a sign of weakness, like we were used to back then, growing
Mm-hmm.
with adults and young people. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it doesn't, I guess it doesn't only just create trust between you the teacher and the student. It also allows them to respect you, right? Because most students doesn't, they don't expect that the
Yes.
teacher would admit or acknowledge I'm wrong and
Yeah.
then go on to say sorry. So then it's like, well, if my teacher can do that,
Yeah.
you see.
Yeah. I
um
mean, let me come. Once things like that happen, you have to then go on and teach about the respect and the apologizing situation.
mm,
Let them learn. So you're not just saying it, but you
right.
give them a quick, I don't know whether it's 5 minutes or whatever, give them different examples of life, because it's a life skill
Mm-hmm.
to take accountability. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
it was me, I did this, but I got it wrong. If you got
Right.
it wrong, then the next step is to apologize. So it's part of life skills that you have to learn.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, with teaching, it involves a lot of things. It's not just teaching the subject. The mentoring part is a big aspect, and also, teaching them these life skills, things
Mm-hmm.
that will come in their way as they grow up. They will get things wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but whoever they haven't that connection with, that they've gotten something wrong, the first thing to do is, you know what, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. Okay, and then move on from that. With that, you gain, like you said, respect
Mm-hmm.
and trust. Yes.
Wow. Because that can even go on beyond the classroom. Because when you are able to instill these qualities in them, when they're out there in the working world, they're not afraid to fail or make a mistake. You're like, okay, I made a mistake. Yeah, I'm sorry. And they're able to, move past that. They don't carry this fear
Yeah.
of making mistakes or this guilt.
Yeah. It's a life.
Mm,
Yeah.
right. Okay. So can you recall a moment where maybe you were dealing with a child or you saw a child who didn't see or couldn't see themselves yet, in terms of maybe you could see something special about them, and they didn't even realize there was anything special about them? And what kind of words did you speak to this child to help them to be able to see their worth?
I think that, using praises a lot help young people to come out. Like I said, most young people, um, if a young person is going to think like that, then there's a reason, either from home, from amongst friends, or maybe from school setting, what
Mm-hmm.
said about them. So I mean, for me, when the student is like that, usually they will be quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So during teaching, you will go to them.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably shy to say, give answers and stuff like that. They will tell you. You keep that, and then
Mm-hmm.
go back listening to everybody. Then you tell the class that, you know what, when I went round, Lady Belin has got an excellent answer for what we're talking about. Lady Belin, do you want to share that with us?
Mm.
Brings them out. So what you're doing is you bring them out more, okay,
Mm-hmm.
rather than letting them be in that comfort zone that they're in, thinking that whatever they're thinking is not good enough.
Right.
Here you are, that you've got a teacher who values exactly what you said so much that they believe it's excellent for the whole class to hear,
Mm.
and then you build on it. So once you keep doing that for a couple of times, they start believing in themselves, that, you know what, I used to think that I wasn't that good, or they told me that, this, they told me that, but here's a teacher telling me that actually what I'm thinking about is great. So now I'm going to start sharing a bit more. So doing that, you bring them out a bit more. And once that become a little bit consistent, then there you are. You've helped a student to come out of
Be
whatever.
comfortable and confident,
Yes, and
knowing that their words, matters, their opinions matter. Someone is actually interested
that's
to
right.
know what it is they're thinking.
Yes.
That's awesome. Okay. Okay, so looking at, I'm not sure if you started your teaching here or you taught a little bit back home and then maybe here. But
Oh,
go
oh,
on.
did you want me to answer that?
Yeah,
No,
well, it will be good. It will be good for me to know
I
because
had
that will help me in terms of the question I want to ask.
I had no intention of becoming a teacher. So
Okay,
my
okay, we can have that question. That can definitely have that conversation. So teaching
was
was never anything you wanted to do.
wasn't it? No.
How did you find yourself in that
Um,
profession?
I had finished university. I finished university. I Those were the days that universities allowed you to combine so many different majors. So I had combined two majors and a minor at Middlesex University. I've come out and I didn't get the grades that I wanted because
Mm,
it was all over the place. You're doing two majors and a minor. It's
right.
ridiculously,
You don't know where to focus your attention now.
yeah. So I had come out of uni and struggling to get a job. And my friend who was working at Harrow College then said,
Mm-hmm,
you know what, my line manager said they need somebody to help the students with their IT work at the library. Would you be interested? I say, yeah, I will be. So
mm-hmm,
sitting in the IT center, students will come and type up their work. I'll go through with them, show them where they should break for paragraphs. If they want to do PowerPoints, I'll help them to create a good, nice PowerPoint. If they're doing spreadsheets, I'll help them. So around that time, key skills came about. I don't know if
mm-hmm.
you're familiar with key skills.
Yes.
And there was an IT part of it.
Mm-hmm,
So my line manager said, "You're good with IT, so I'm going to give you a class
mm,
for you to look after just the IT bits. This and that is what they need to cover. So come up with a way where you're going to teach them as a class to learn these skills."
mm.
Oh my God, this woman wants to turn me into a teacher. So, talk about some teachers, bringing out the potential in others. This was the lady that actually brought out,
Mm,
showing me that I could teach young people for them to understand what,
right.
what needed to be done.
Mm,
She gave me this key skills class for starters. But then I was a tutor. That was the job role, and this was 2001, and the rest is history. After that, I went to do my PGCE to learn how to teach properly at Greenwich University, and
mhm.
the rest is history. I've been teaching all over.
Wow. So now you've been doing it for over 2 decades.
Yes,
Do you think it was almost lies like a blessing in disguise? Like looking back,
looking
do you
back.
think it's are you glad you
Oh,
took this
oh,
on or did
definitely,
you
because looking back, there's so many job roles that probably I could have gone for. But being a teacher, one, the impact that you make on young people. Two, it was a very good balance for family at the time as well. Having a young family, being at home when the kids were on holiday,
on holidays? Yes.
going, to work and dropping my little ones at nursery,
Hmm.
right where I was teaching. It was great.
Hmm.
So, I'm grateful to
It
to
was almost like an accident waiting to have you
that.
just, an
Yeah,
accident you stumbled into, and then now look at life.
it worked really.
Everything has just fallen into place. Life is just so beautiful, isn't it? When you become flexible.
Yeah.
Wow. And for over 2 decades,
Yes.
you've been making great impacts in the lives of students. You started off with students, that have probably been castigated, been labeled. Nothing good can come out of them. And there you are. You're not even a teacher. You never even wanted to be a teacher. But some way, somehow, you had the skills
Yes.
to be able to bring the best
Yeah.
out of the students.
Yeah. I think teaching, a lot of people find teaching hard. I think for me, what makes it a little bit, I won't say easy, it just makes it, um, it balances things out, is my personality. My
Okay.
personality, the people skills that I have, I think that plays a very big role in
Mm-hmm.
the work that I do. So,
Right.
you know, um, being a little bit, um, having a good relationship with my students is
Mm-hmm.
all, good.
Mm-hmm.
It helps teaching for teaching to happen in the first place, because if you don't have a good relationship with your class,
Yeah.
it's always
You
difficult.
can't get the best out of them. So
It-
it's not only just about teaching the subject, but you have to almost have like that kind of people skill, be warm, be approachable for the student to be able to, because again, if you want them to listen to you, pay attention to you, and you're so rigid, you're not smiling, it's all about, I think last week, my guest said something that teaching is not only about that disciplinarian
oh,
aspect of it, but then you have to also be empathetic,
yes,
and then almost like a preacher.
yes,
You have to play all these roles in order for you to be able to get the best out of them.
yes,
And as you rightly said, it's not just about the skill set that you have, but your personality, the character, your aura. It helps the student to be able to gravitate towards you,
that's
and
right.
at least be able to take in what it is you're trying to teach them. And in the same pedigree that someone saw something in you and thought that, what, you'll be great at this,
Yes,
is now you at that in that lady's position,
yeah,
now planting these seeds
yeah,
into these students. It's almost like it's gone round
yeah,
360 degrees.
yes.
And I want to know, like, how do you model care for students even when you need to be firm with them?
Well, as a teacher, being firm is an everyday thing. You have to be firm, you have to be consistent, but you have to be calm. Okay.
Right.
Comes to empathy, you have to have a real good balance, because you can't be, let's say, trying to look at policy when a student is really in crisis, for instance.
Right.
So you need a bit of background,
Balance.
balance it. It's not all about policy. Okay, all right, hold on. I understand that this is what the policy says, but here's a student that is going through this or that's going through that. I mean, one of during my early years of teaching, I think I had told of this girl who was very chatty in class one morning about
Mm-hmm.
something that they were so fixated about, going on and on about it, and
Mm-hmm.
obviously gaining classroom control. I discipline them in the way that is supposed to be done.
Mm-hmm.
Then later on, I learned that, with that example that I gave earlier on, that the mum was taken to hospital in the morning, and to her, that has stayed with her coming into school. So there was a lot more going on with her than
Mm-hmm.
just sitting in class being taught about an enterprise that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So since then, I've learned to balance. So it's not all about trying to be firm, not
Mm-hmm.
all about authority, but
Mm-hmm.
also understanding the background
Mm-hmm.
of these students. Where is what's causing this behavior? Okay,
Right.
to understand that, rather than just straight away throwing the books at them. So I mean, in the end, I had to speak to the girl again, but that stayed with me for for a long time. I just said to myself, okay, so it's not all about the policy, it's not all about the authority in the classroom, but sometimes you need to be empathetic. You need to try and understand what has happened as well, because we're all human beings, isn't it?
Mhm.
You have to understand that something causes something.
Right.
To try and get to understand these things. Yes.
that is quite interesting what you just said there, because that just took me back to the conversation last week. My guest also shared something that powerful, that there was an occasion where there was a student that was consistently turning up late, doesn't do his homework and nothing. And then on this particular day, it's like he had just had it with the student, and so he came in and was like, and person A, why are you constantly, he was just drumming. And then after he had said that to one of the students, came out and said, sir, the student, he's an orphan. Both of his parents are no more, and he lives with his grandma. She doesn't work. The only thing she does is just go to the farm. That's why he doesn't turn up to school with books or anything. Doesn't do, because he doesn't have the means to. He's like, that was such a wake up call for him. After that day, he started to see things different. And I see that there are a lot, especially this generation, because of a lot of what they are exposed to, technology and all these things. So they are forced to grow up so quickly and mature, even when they don't have the right tools. So they look like adults, but mentally they are still children. And a lot of them are dealing with a whole lot of things that children their age shouldn't be dealing with,
Yes.
coupled with trying to pick up all these subjects and do all these things. And so sometimes the child might be very problematic in class, but it's almost like a means to that they're struggling to show what it is they're going through. And it's almost like their way of trying to gain some attention,
Yeah.
and it's up to that teacher to be able to look beyond, sit down, pick up your book, do the work, and just the whole well-being of the child, being able to pick up when the child comes in. This is usually a child that's quite bubbly, and today they came in, they're looking a little bit down trotted. They're not, to be able to pick that up and just have that quiet, or that one-to-one moment with them to try and find out if there's anything else going on in their life beyond their classroom. And that is like taking that teaching or that role and then almost bringing it in that parental empathetic other qualities to be able to better serve the student.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh-huh.
sorry, empathy is a big part of what we do. I mean, what we're used to back home, school teaching is very, very different.
Yes, extremely.
Because, I mean, if you want to be successful doing your teaching or whatever you're doing in the school, um, you have to create that time where you can grow some kind of relationship with your students. And that might mean that, okay, student A, you did very well today. However, I just need to catch up with you after school for 10 minutes or 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Sit down with them, try and understand maybe why certain things happened the other day, but today is great. There's something happened the other day that, you were not aware of. They might snap. And then when they open up, for me, my strategy is, so if that happens next time, I wouldn't know. So how would you let me know so that we do something different?
Right.
It's all part of the ways that you're gaining their trust.
Mm.
Okay, so they might come in the next morning when that thing has happened and say, sir, can I have a quick word? And then you, and then that lesson, you have in your mind what's happened with this student A or student B, and therefore you know how to approach them or how to treat them. And,
Right.
by doing that, you're going to have a successful lesson.
Mm-hmm.
You don't bother to understand these things, then teaching becomes really, really difficult. And that's why I said at the beginning, I don't want to put it out there that, oh, Eugene said teaching is easy. No, it's not easy. No,
No.
say teaching is easy, but there are certain strategies, certain things you can do to help yourself
Mm-hmm.
to get through things a little bit, comfortable, if I that word.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you have to have a strategy. You have to have ways to connect with your students, and once you've got that connection, things are usually, not so rough.
Right. So you said there are certain strategies. It's not that teaching is easy, but
No,
when you know these strategies and you are able to implement them, it makes the process a little bit more maybe bearable. So what are these for a teacher or an educator that is struggling with burnout, unconscious biases? What can they do to bring
But
themselves to where you are, for them to almost like envisage teaching being quote
yeah,
unquote easy?
I mean, if as a teacher, if you're experiencing burnout, first thing you have to understand is burnout is not failure. You're not failing. It's just your body and your mind telling you that they need a bit of care.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, which is something that we don't wait. We don't have to wait till then to give that care to the body and to the mind. It's an every now and then thing. Okay, all right. First 6 weeks out of the way. All right. Close all the books. You have to do something different to bring the body recuperate and bring the body back to start again.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing with the mind. So we need to. It's not just teaching. I think in various jobs as well, we need to know when to draw the line and
Right.
listen to the body and listen to the mind, and give it a bit of care.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Conscious bias, we all have it.
Yeah.
It's to me, it's just about having a circle where you can offload certain things and take advice from that as well,
Mm-hmm.
and learn from everyday things that we do, and get to know your people, your circle, get to know your students, get to know your colleagues,
Mm-hmm.
get to know family members, extended family members, and stuff like that. And once you get to know people, I think conscious bias goes down, because okay, he said this, but this is what they meant, or this is what
Right.
they mean to say, or they didn't mean to say. So you
Mm-hmm.
get to know people that way, because we all have that. It's something that you can't teach it.
Mm-hmm.
We have to experience it, and we have to learn the circle that we're in better. And
Mm-hmm.
that, yeah.
Okay. I see we're almost wow. It's almost time. Imagine that.
I know.
Have you ever had a student, throughout your over 2 decades, 23 years of teaching,
Yeah.
had that one student that came back to thank you for something you didn't even realize was so significant? And what was that? What was it that they picked up from your day? What did you teach them, or what did they tell you that they learned from you that has allowed them to be able to come back and say thank you, sir?
I think most of the time, if you look back, you realize that it's not teaching, but it's
Mm.
third. It's not you helping them to understand. Let me think. It's not you helping them to understand
The subject.
SWOT analysis,
Right.
yeah, understanding a business topic. No, it's never that. It's always something that you said, something that you did.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, maybe I won't say they take it for granted, but I think they expect that of you, for you to teach them the subject.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're gonna come back to you and thank you for is probably you pushing them.
Mm.
That I've had it for quite a number of years.
Mm-hmm.
I've got cards where the student is saying that thank you for seeing that I wasn't just a merit student and I could get this,
Wow.
you pushing me. So
Wow.
we'll get those, but it's not really about this. Oh, thank you for teaching me this. No, it's about something that you say to them,
Right.
you know what, your merit was very strong. I think
Mm.
by doing this and by doing that, you could easily be a distinction student. What, really? Can I? Yeah.
Wow. Speaking that life into them to
They
believe that they can do better.
start believing they can do it, and then the next minute they come back and tell you that, you know what, guess what, I did get a distinction in that unit or that subject. So
Wow.
most of the time it's not teaching, because the teaching they expect for you to do that, but
Right.
it's little act. Like, for instance, this student stopping me somewhere saying that I was the only person that took time out to learn how to
How to pronounce their name correctly.
So it's those things, because
Mm-hmm.
you're expected to teach them those subjects. You're expected to do all those things, but
Right.
just the little things, the little acts that you do here and there, saying to pushing them a little bit. Listen, you're not a merit student. Your work is good quality. You just have to add this and add that, and you will be looking at distinction. You can get a distinction. Things like that. Those things, yes, I do get a lot of students come back to say thank you for pushing me. If it wasn't you, I was only going to leave with a merit, but now I've got a distinction. I was only going to leave with a C, but now I've got a B. Things like that. Yeah, you get.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And on behalf of, the students that you have come across in the last 23 years in your teaching, thank you for not just
Yeah.
being a teacher that passes on knowledge on a subject, but
No.
taking on board the fullness, the totality of the well-being of the student and helping them to recognize their potential, and you identifying their potential and speaking this life into them. Last week and today we're talking about the teacher's effect. So to just wrap it up, because it's almost time, who is that one teacher that either said something, did something that has stayed with you throughout? Once we're giving, flowers to the teachers, who is that teacher to you?
Oh, for me.
Yeah, for you.
Oh, for me personally. Oh, okay.
Yeah, personally. Yeah.
Um, Maybe three of them that come straight to them. So
Okay.
when I first came to this country and I started sixth form, um, the subjects that we could learn, I remember trying French and I didn't like it because with French, things have to be identified as a female and a male, and that
Right.
I didn't do it. It just bugged me. So as I saw French, I pushed it to the side. And then the next thing on there was Italian. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, all right, I'll learn it.
Okay.
Teacher was just amazing.
Mm.
So within a short time, I was able to introduce myself fully
Mm-hmm.
in a
Mm-hmm.
video in Italian, and she put my videos up a couple of years when I had finished.
Mm-hmm.
Previous students to be watching and to be learning how to pronounce, because obviously I come from Africa. I've got good pronunciations when it comes, so that helped as well. And because of that, I was gonna do Italian A level, but the subjects that I needed to do were what I needed to go to university with. So I dropped Italian, but I
Okay.
remember Magdalena was one of the teachers that inspired me.
Wow.
Obviously, at that time I was working, I wasn't a student, but my line manager at Harrow College, who gave me a class for me to
Mm-hmm.
start, she obviously inspired me for me to get into teaching. So that's a big and then I think my biology teacher, I went,
Mm-hmm.
my secondary school is Opokwai Secondary School in
Okay.
we
In
say
Ghana.
school in Ghana,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a biology teacher. We used to call him Koba. He made me
Love.
love the subject. It was,
Wow.
I loved biology. On the other hand, I had one teacher who
There's always one rotten apple.
who made me hate chemistry so bad.
Oh wow.
Just
You
didn't want.
love biology and they hated chemistry. Their brother, their siblings,
I know, but because of him, I just didn't want to go to that class. So
Mm.
there you go. So it was then that when I started teaching, I said to myself, "You remember a teacher didn't
Mm-hmm.
allow you to like a subject?
Mm.
You can be that teacher that makes all students love this particular subject that you're going to be teaching.
Wow.
Don't be that teacher that made you didn't like that subject."
Right.
So that always, that has stayed with me for a long time. And I think,
Don't be that teacher that made you not like that subject. So
yes,
how you turn
yeah,
almost like a negative situation
into,
into a positive, that now you are able to do
yes,
what the teacher couldn't have done for you.
that's right. Yes.
And literally we just wrap it there like that. You've ended the whole conversation nicely, so I don't need to
Thank
continue
you.
on anything. And time just flies, when you're just in the mood of things, and just like that, it's
Yeah.
9 o'clock. And I want, guys, viewers and listeners, I want you to help join me to thank my guest Eugene, who's been, he's an educator in the university, sixth form.
Yeah.
He's been doing this for 23 years, making a great impact in the life of students. It's been an absolute pleasure. I know you're very busy, extremely busy, and he still took some time out, an hour out, to try and join me and be a blessing and an impact to our listeners. I'm grateful for that. Thank you for gracing the Lady Belin Show
Thank you
platform.
for having me on.
God bless you.
Thank
Thank you. All right then.
you. Take care.
You too.
Okay.
Bye.
Then.
All
Bye.
right. Bye. And you were listening to my guest, Eugene. So it's not that teaching is easy. Teaching is not just about the subject or the knowledge you're imparting into the lives of these students. It goes beyond that, because some of these subjects, some of these knowledge is expected of you as a teacher. You're only doing your job. But it's when you go above and beyond your job, when you take that notice of that child that is usually bubbly and then suddenly they've gotten quiet, that child that was performing so well, and then now you can see their grades are dropping, and taking that initiative to have that one-on-one conversation with them to find out if there's anything wrong with them, is some of these acts that stays with the students sometimes a lifetime. And so if you're listening to me and you are a teacher, whether in education or you occupy any position where you are imparting some kind of knowledge into the lives of others, don't just make it about that job, that role. Go above and beyond, because people would always remember, like they say, how you made them feel. So in our day-to-day dealings, when we go to work, when we interact with people, what is it are we saying? What is it are we doing that is making that impact that will last a lifetime? You've been listening to our conversation on the teacher effect. And this evening, we looked at it from the angle of disciplining and also caring. Because sometimes you have to discipline them, but you discipline in love by caring for them. You bring them in, you bring them, or they're able to trust you because you show them that you care. Like Ian Rice said, my teacher, Mr. Pigden, made me feel like I'm important. He gave me self-worth. When you are engaging with people, how are you making them feel? By your actions or inactions? And I want to say thank you for taking the time to tune in, to join the conversation. And so when you go away from this live stream, have a moment, sit down and think about that teacher that spoke life into you. And if unfortunately you had that teacher that made you feel so unworthy, you have the power, like my guest said, my teacher made me hate chemistry. And because of that teacher, when I became a teacher, I wanted to make sure I didn't do, or I didn't have the same effect on the student, but I was going to do my best to be the opposite. I will be that teacher that will make the students love the subject. And this is how sometimes we rise up from the place of victim. This is how sometimes the hurt don't end up hurting others. Well, because you have been through it, because you didn't like it, you choose to want to do different so that you can produce a better outcome. You've been listening to Lady Belin on the Lady Belin Show, finding strength in your story. I'm grateful that you took the time to join us. If you're not following us on our various social media platforms, it's at Lady Belin Show. We are on TikTok, we are on Instagram, we are on Facebook, and we do have our YouTube channel. It has so many, over 100 of messages on there. Join, subscribe, listen, leave a comment or feedback. Let us know how we're doing, how this platform is in any way impacting your life. Thank you. Have a great evening, and God willing, we shall connect again next week on this very same platform at 8 p.m. British Summer Time, wherever you join me from. That land, that city, that town is blessed because of you. I love you and I'm grateful for joining us. Have a great evening, everyone, and take care. Bye. Thank you for joining us today on the Lady Belin Show. May the story shared stir your heart, renew your faith, and remind you that God is still writing yours. Until next time, keep growing, keep believing, and keep finding strength in your story.